What's going on, everyone? Anthony Drew Gary here, host of the How To Show, where we talk about optimizing life, money, and happiness one how to at a time. If you guys are watching this video the day it comes out, I've got to start with a shout out to my Illini Hoops team because they are a number 1 seed in this year's tournament. 6 more games, boys. You can do it. All right. So this week we're going to talk about credit cards, and in order to do that appropriately, I got to start every credit card type video with a reminder that anything we're going to talk about in this video revolves around the idea that you are paying your credit cards off on time and in full every month. At the How To Show, we do not pay credit card interest, but we get a ton of perks because we use credit cards, and that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how to build a stack of credit cards that used together can help you get the most benefit from the spending that you're already doing. And so, to continue the idea here, there are going to be no affiliate links to any credit card offers or opportunities, although I will mention specific cards by name, and they're cards that have benefited either me, my family, or ones that I've heard about in a general way that can help people. And so, we're going to break the credit cards down into really a couple of general categories. And so, we've got things like cashback, we've got things like revolving cashback, and then we've got points cards. And so used in combination, these can really start to be to your benefit. And so if we start with just the basic cashback card, this is your everyday spending. You swipe your card, and for every $100 that you spend, or every denomination above and beyond, or below, every transaction, you get a percentage cut back, and basically it's the credit card company rewarding you for using their card. And so these vary. You'll find some cards give you 1% back, some of them give you 1.5%, but I have found a card that our family uses for most of our general purchases. It's the Fidelity Rewards card, and it gives you 2% back. And so if you think about that, for every $100 you spend, you get $2 back. And so you're getting almost your whole life 2% off if you think about it that way. The way that the Fidelity card sets up is that you have to open a Fidelity brokerage account in order for the funds to get dropped into that account. But you don't have to invest those funds. You can pull them right back out and transfer them to your checking account. And so it really is a cash back in the traditional sense that, you spend $100, you get $2 back. And so for general purposes, you want to have a good cash back card that's a higher percentage one that you can use for your everyday purchases. No matter what, that's a good option. But every so often there are better options. And so that gets me into revolving cashback cards. These are the types of cards that, every quarter maybe they'll have different perks where instead of the basic 1% back, they'll bump it up to 5% or 4%, some feature like that. And so for that category, our family uses the Chase Freedom card. They typically have revolving categories every quarter, and for those revolving categories, you get 5% cash back. And this can be beneficial because they have usually gas stations are 1 quarter, and then sometimes they'll do department stores, or sometimes they'll do different things. I know they did Amazon 1 year. That was really popular. And so you just got to pay attention to what those categories are and whether or not you personally spend a lot of money on those categories. I know I dedicated a whole video to this a while back for the benefit of gas stations. If you do this for gas stations, you use the 5% category, you can potentially purchase gift cards to the gas stations you frequent, and it'll just help you benefit that. You can spend the gift cards later on, even though the quarter may be over and the benefit might not be there. You can still continue to get that benefit that way. I will link to that video overhead now if you want to check that video out in its entirety. But that's the whole concept of the revolving cards for cashback quarters, and you can start to stack your basic 2% and decide whether a specific purchase is good or bad based on whether or not you could get a cashback category for it instead. And so at the bare minimum, you're getting 2% back, but maybe you could get 5%. And so if we break it down one more level, there are different types of what I would call points cards. And so these are hotels, airlines, different loyalty-based cards. And so our family sometimes uses these, but not as often as the general cashback. If you frequent an airline or you frequent a specific chain of hotels, these may be beneficial. And so basically, instead of earning cash back, you earn points, and you can use those points to redeem the points for either stays or trips or whatever the type of use is for that specific partner card. But one of the things I want to caution you about is that whenever you change the currency, in this case it's from dollars to points, you have the opportunity to kind of forget what those points are worth in a dollars and cents base. This is the same idea as the casino. They make you change your dollars in for chips, and so it doesn't feel like you're spending money. It doesn't feel like you're spending money when you spend the points, but it can be helpful if you think about it that way. And so maybe it makes sense for you to get into one of these points cards, and maybe it doesn't, and you just have to do some math to figure that out. The other downside to the points cards is that you are a little bit exposed to the fact that the partners, be it airlines or hotels, they can change what the points are worth at any point. Little to no pun intended there, but if you have, let's say you've got 10,000 points to go spend at a hotel, maybe you can get a hotel for $10,000, maybe it costs 15, maybe 30, 35. But what happens when next year when those same hotels cost maybe 12.5 or 17.5 or 37.5 because they deflated the value of those points? Just something to think about when you start to get away from cashback cards and get into the point-based cards, is remember what their value is, and remember that their value can change based on the provider. And a final category that I'll get into is we'll call them the premium cards. These are the types of cards that have annual fees, and in exchange for those annual fees, they generally give you a bigger benefit in either points, or I'm not aware of a cashback card that gives you better benefits, but usually it's in the system of points. And so all of the cards that I've mentioned prior to this are no annual fee, at least the majority of them. Some of these partner cards or these points cards, they start to have annual fees, and that's a way for them to get you to forget about the fact that, for these benefits, you're actually paying for it. Anywhere from $50 to $95 to I think as high as $400 or $500, you're spending. Basically, they debit your card, or they create a transaction for the annual fee, and you have to pay it as part of your credit card statement. And in exchange for that, they give you what they want you to perceive to be better points options. And again, you've just got to do some math to make sure that that's really what you're getting for it. You typically have to be a pretty big spender on those types of items, be it airlines or hotels or maybe even rental cars, to get the full advantage of using one of those premium cards that has an annual fee. But the moral to this whole conversation is that, if you're going to be spending money and you're going to be using your credit cards wisely and you're not going to pay any credit card interest, you might as well figure out what system or grouping of cards makes the most sense for you. If you can get 2% back on everything, and then maybe with one card you can get rotating benefits for gas, maybe another card will get you rotating benefits for groceries, and then you've got something for maybe your airline or your hotel. It starts to make up a big chunk of your overall spending. You can get some benefit out of all of it. I mean, to the tunes of hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands of dollars kickback to you every year just because you're using these types of cards. And so if you haven't thought about it already, you may want to consider doing this as part of your overall plan to win with money. That is going to bring this episode of the show to a close. Hopefully you've stuck around this long and you can check out the other shows that I have featured at the end of this video. If you got any value from this video, please share it with somebody that might get some benefit of it, or somebody who just uses their bank debit card for everything. You can show them that there's a better way and you can get some benefit from your spending. If you think this is a video that others should be watching, hit the like button so that YouTube knows it to show that video to somebody else. And if you want to see new videos each and every Wednesday when they come out, hit the subscribe button, and you can hit the little notification bell as well. It'll show up as soon as you open up YouTube. And if you are not a full-time YouTuber and you like to podcast, you can find all of my content there as well. Search the How To Show or Anthony Drew Gary on the podcast player of your choice, and you'll find those. If you've got any ideas for future topics or future ideas for the show, or if you've got any feedback for this episode, leave me a comment down below, and I engage with each and every one of those. Have a good time doing it, and usually I make fun of myself in the process. Until next time, this is Anthony Drew Gary, host of The How To Show, signing off.